excerpts from my talk at the second Indian Organizational and Industrial Psychology Conference held at Baroda on 23rd of this month. I recapitulated the contributions of famous psychologists from across the world and how we are using them even today and how rich are the contributions, starting with Henry Murray, David McClelland, Kurt Lewin, Douglas McGregor, B.F. Skinner, Robert Rosenthal, Francis Likert, and a whole lot of others. I think their contributions are even valued today and we keep using them. I also mentioned about the contributions made by Indian psychologists like Uday Parikh on extension motivation, role efficacy, and a whole lot of other things. Pestanji on role stress and various other stress related issues. Parag Mehta on development motivation concepts, and J.B.P. Sinha on nurture and task leader. And also acknowledge some of my teachers like Professor Parameshwaran and Dr. Praful M. Dave, who were great teachers and from whom I have learnt how to be probably a devoted and good teacher, experimenting all the time in the classroom. Main thing I spoke at the end, of course I devoted very little time, is a message I have given to the Indian psychologists in terms of the future work. My own feeling is that there is a lot to be discovered about human beings in general and Indians in particular. We have not done any significant work that really helps us to understand why people behave the way they behave. Quite often we do a lot of research using psychometric tools, instruments and so on. But I did maintain that any research that you do which is meant for publications in Western journals may not really be a research that will help us to understand the complex Indian human being. I maintain that Indian personality or Indian human being is very complex to understand. Very complex. Add to this, I think the impact of technology today, it becomes even more complicated. People don't behave the same way all the time. They behave in a particular way today and tomorrow they are unpredictable. Tomorrow they are in a different way. Maybe some people are more predictable, but some people are unpredictable. And people work in different settings. Those who work in rural areas, those who work in semi-urban areas, those who work in institutions, those who work in government. Every human behavior in a context is both influenced by the context as well as the personality and the chemistry that he or she generates. If you ask me frankly today, I cannot predict the behavior of any human being, including those who work with me. You can't even predict the behavior of your own children. Where is the question of your being able to predict the behavior? Some parts you may predict, but there are many other parts you don't know. So we have not spent our time and energies to discover the psychology of human beings in our country in different settings. We have phenomenally varied settings. And until we make an effort, starting with, I think, the way Maslow did, with single-minded, scientific question to say why do people behave the way they behave, and keep on generating answers. I think for us, India is the best laboratory to discover psychology, and anything you discover psychology and predict human behavior, I think will be a great contribution to this. So my recommendation to most psychologists who are attending this particular conference was, please spend your time trying to understand people. People in the university, students in the university, today's students, yesterday's students, staff in the university and in our surroundings. I think there is so much to learn, so much to learn. In fact, I think sometimes I am surprised about the extent to which I can predict my own behavior. Because like everyone else, I am also a complex human being. I want to do certain things, but I am not able to do. Sometimes weaknesses take over. I don't want to do certain things, I end up doing the same thing. Again, some weakness takes over. I am sometimes mastered by my circumstances than my own desires, my own values, my own principles. There are many people who tell me that don't do that, don't do this. I think you should stick to your principles and things of that nature. It's very easy to say than to do it. Why does this happen? Why is it that people are not able to honor their commitments? Why is it vested interests take over? You join an institution with a great commitment to make a difference in that institution. After some time, you are a different person. You are exploiting the institution, or at least you are perceived as exploiting. And when you are asked, then you give a question and point out a dozen others in the same institution who are far higher level of exploiters than you was. That means, is the mind of an Indian decided by what happens to the neighbors, not for himself or herself? Is there something that we can learn from maybe our ancient scriptures and so on? How do we change this? I think there are a whole lot of issues. I think human being is complex, and that is why I like this term of Sadhguru. Human is a possibility. It's not merely a resource. Resource is a restricting view of a human being. The moment you say possibility, anything is possible. What the person does today, there is no guarantee he will do it tomorrow. Maybe he does better, maybe he does far better, or maybe he does far worse. Why does that person do? I think it's a question mark. So friends, if you happen to be a psychologist or a behavioral scientist listening to this, please do join me in creating a knowledge of our own, knowledge of human beings in India working in different kind of settings. I think there can be millions of books written, millions of blogs written on this. So I hope I'll come back to you with more insights about human behavior in course of time.